Michael did also ask for opportunity to take, I think, hopefully you can do it within 5 minutes, Michael, building on your case before our court, actually, of the election fraud. Michael, would you like to give a news report update on concerns in this area?
Sure. Thank you, Stuart or Charles. The evidence continues to come in, and it's quite revealing, especially the one truck driver that testified that he drove a truck full of ballots from New York to Pennsylvania, and he's getting quite a bit of attention, including attention from the FBI that's not been too appropriate. And Lou Dobbs on Fox Business has taken him up as a cause and is giving him quite a bit of airtime to show his evidence and to keep the people abreast of his situation. And it's getting very interesting, to say the least. I think in the days ahead, we really need to stay tuned to further, manifestations of evidence and hearings that are being conducted at different state levels. I think it's going to be very telling, and it's going to show us who the real freedom fighters are and who the counterfeits are. And that includes commanding officer, Mr. Trump. It's time for him to step up to the plate, and if he believes what he says, then this is an appropriate time to make some sort of act or action regarding criminal behavior that he alleges. And if he fails to do so, that will be a sad day for America. And I was tuned in today to several live streams from Washington, D.C., and there's quite a bit of activity there, and a lot of great speeches by average common citizens were given, and it was very interesting. Right Side Broadcasting was one that covered it. NTD is another one. I just think we're in very historic times, and the momentum is growing, the resistance is growing, and we couldn't ask for a better environment to be doing what we're doing. So I'm glad for that. And with that, I'll yield. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Is there comments or questions on Michael's news update and commentary here?
If I may.
Paul, I was hoping you might chime in. You've got a dog in this fight also, don't you there, Paul?
Yes, sir. We have a pretty big dog in this fight. I think I sent you a copy of the petition that was to be filed for the federal grand jury in Atlanta to take administrative control of criminal investigations. Did I send that to you?
I believe you did, sir.
Okay. Well, it was submitted with the signatories numbering 44, one of whom was out of the state of New York. And it arrived, I received notification from the post office that it was placed in the federal mailbox, the U.S. courthouse mailbox, on December the 7th. Since that time, we have not heard from any member of the grand jury, the foreman, or anyone else. I am supposing that the grand jury is probably seeking some explanation that they can understand of the legal pleading that was presented. But for the purposes of the general population, it is sufficient to say that that pleading was a request for the United States grand jury to open its own investigation independent of any other governmental agency, to supervise and control that investigation, even to the point of compelling FBI and U.S. Department of Justice officials to bring any evidence of misconduct in the federal election cycle and lay it before them for their consideration. Mm-hmm. I'll yield.
Louis, just with a comment.
Yes.
I like what Paul has presented, and see that now that's sensical. When you're making a request for any and all evidence to be presented, bring it forward. Outside of allegations and presentations with charts and things that you and I could have put together to present whatever position we chose to, but actual evidence presented to a federal grand jury. Those type of efforts I actually support. Many of these other things that have been going on, I believe that had anyone else brought these actions forward, they would have been considered frivolous, and some would have actually faced fines for doing so. I've seen that type of action and been involved with that type of action where a woman brought forth attempting to position herself as a common law wife of my brother-in-law after his very unsudden passing, and I've seen there's no end to what people have the ability to do with the legal system, and in terms of depositions and in trying to move forward with cases and such. But actual evidence, I support that 100%. So Paul's effort. So with that, I yield.
Thank you, Louis.
May I?
Cindy, yes?
Yeah, this is Cindy in Florida. What I would love to see happen across this nation, and it would be a beautiful thing if it would start right here on this call, is for this country to see this as an attack on we the people, not an attack on the Democratic Party, not an attack on the Republican Party, because that is exactly what our founders warned us about in choosing parties. But if we could just lay our political colors aside and all of us act as purple, then we could come to a resolution of this, because this is not about Trump. This is not about Biden. This is about we the people being robbed of our liberty and our freedom and our honest elections. There have been things presented, and our bias has got to be laid aside, that the truth can be revealed, because this is about we the people. I yield.
Thank you, Cynthia. Further comments, questions?
May I add a bit?
Yes, Paul, go ahead.
I would point out, too, that the language of our petition was nonpartisan. That is to say, we don't care what political party may have had any influence in formatting or fomenting malfeasant conduct. We are asking the grand jury to look at everybody equally, look at the evidence equally, and then make a determination. And I would state further that these 44 men and women, by taking this action in their petition, are exercising their duty as sitting board members of these two large corporations, the United States government and the state government. So they were willing to get off the couch, get out in front of that one-eyed monster, and take the time to bring their evidence and bring their petitions and their remonstrances before a federal grand jury. And right now we're just waiting on subpoenas from the grand jury. Thank you, and I will yield.
Thank you, Paul Nally, out of Georgia.